Mario, the family-friendly mascot of the most family-friendly publisher, is hiding a dark secret. Back in the year 2004, in an effort to redefine himself and shed his childish image, Mario made an RPG game that targeted an audience with actual maturity, showing a gallows in its opening credits, and even forcing Princess Peach to walk around naked. This isn't your average Mario game. But did this push for edginess take away from the game's actual quality? Let's talk about it. Now, you may not believe me, considering I never played Metroid Prime, or Pikmin, or The Thousand Year Door, but I did have a GameCube back in the day, and it is one of, if not my favorite console of all time. I somehow just missed some of the most foundational games of that generation. So once again, we have a re-release of a classic GameCube game on the Switch that I had no experience with. So imagine my shock when I booted up The Thousand Year Door for the first time and realized this isn't your Super Nintendo Mario. The game immediately spits Mario into a seedy land filled with criminals and a literal gallows. Things that I never thought I'd see in a Nintendo, let alone Mario, game. Now, I've heard people talk about how Mario has been sanitized by Nintendo in recent years, and I had no idea to the extent to which that happened. After playing through the game, I think that's actually my biggest takeaway. Nintendo really is capable of making wonderful games and pushing the boundaries of what they've previously established. And for whatever reason, it was only with the GameCube that they thought they could make a game for people who had grown up playing their games. This game was so refreshing. And it's still Mario. It's colorful, it's humorous, it's childish, but it also respects its audience and treats them like more than children. The story itself is nothing amazing. It's still your standard, the princess has been kidnapped, go find her, but not before you traverse through 7 or 8 worlds. But the game just has this great sense of humor and introduces a wide array of characters that keep things interesting. It's really not something you see in modern Mario or even Nintendo games, really. The most recent Paper Mario game, The Origami King, on the Switch, is one I played and actually enjoyed quite a lot. But now that I've played through The Thousand Year Door, I also get why people come down so hard on it and the other later games in the series. Now, at its heart, this is a turn-based RPG. Mario and a partner fight against enemies one at a time. Mario can jump on or hit things with a hammer, while all of his companions have unique attacks and abilities. When you level up, you can either increase Mario's HP, FP, which he uses for abilities, or BP, which lets him equip badges. Badges are the real RPG element here. Equipping them either gives you stat boosts, or access to new abilities, or resistances to status effects. It's a pretty cool system, pretty simple to understand, and it makes each level up feel impactful. You know what you're working towards, and at least initially it felt like there was some tough decisions to be made. Do you want to add more room for stat boosts, or give yourself more health, or the ability to use more abilities within a battle? Unfortunately, very quickly, I found that I didn't need to worry about the HP or FP, and I just had to max out my BP to get as many badges equipped as possible. I found the game just a little too easy, and was able to take down most even bosses within just a small number of turns, thanks to stat boosts that you can get from badges, but then also a severely attack boosting ability that Mario unlocks about a third of the way through the game. But it doesn't matter because the game is fun. With its world-based approach to its story, each new area that you come to is essentially a self-contained story that also feeds the larger narrative. And this helps keep the game fresh. You know that when you get to a new area, you're going to meet new characters and have to help them with whatever they're going through. It's a totally new story. There are a few times where the narrative sags, most notably the arena world and the train section, but overall I thought the game was paced fairly well. Now, it wouldn't be a Mario game without some platforming, so the overworld and exploration does have some of that. As you progress through the story, Mario unlocks a number of traversal abilities to explore the world, which of course then lets you go back to previous areas if you so choose, to find one or two hidden treasures. I wouldn't go as far as to say it's like a Metroidvania, just if you feel like going back, there is something to look for. Overworld exploration could feel a little tedious at times, especially some of the Yoshi jumps. It just felt a little too easy not to make the jump, but this was at most a minor annoyance, nothing game-breaking. Interesting for me, my biggest complaint with the game was actually its music. Now, music is something I barely notice in most games. Some have really good soundtracks that maybe make an impact on me, but for the most part, music is just music. It's there. But I don't know what it was with this game. The updated soundtrack is, I think, mixed horribly. I genuinely had to play on mute because it was just a cacophony. It didn't make sense. It was dissonant. I couldn't focus. It was giving me anxiety listening to the music in this game. Something was seriously off, and I've never had this experience with a game before, so I genuinely do think it was the mix or something. Especially because pretty early on you actually get a badge that you can equip for free, and if you equip it, the soundtrack reverts back to the original GameCube soundtrack, and I loved it. I did not have the problems I had with the new soundtrack. So I don't know. Did anybody else have that problem? Let me know in the comments, but yeah, thank God for that badge because this game actually has a great soundtrack. A lot of the songs are pretty catchy, especially the combat song. I really enjoyed that. And they fit well with the rest of the Mario series. All in all, the Thousand Year Door really is a special game within the Mario series. A game that I'm kind of honestly shocked they even made, especially when you look at the games they've made since then. It respects those who grew up with Mario while still being accessible to anyone and everyone. Engaging RPG gameplay and a beautiful world to explore, with a great diversity in locales and story beats, it really is a full package and absolutely holds up after all these years. So for a final rating, I would give the presentation a 4 out of 5, the gameplay a 4.5 out of 5, the story a 3.5 out of 5, for an overall of a 4.25 out of 5. And for value, I would say it's worth it. If you've played it before, I'm sure you've already bought it. And if you've never played this game, it's one that's worth experiencing. And I think the Switch version is the perfect way to do that. But what do you think? Should Mario have maybe pushed the boundaries even further? Why did they stop making games like this? What happened to the Paper Mario series? Let me know in the comments down below. What's your favorite Mario game? Do you prefer these RPG ones or the more traditional platforming ones? If you liked the video, be sure to like the video, consider subscribing to the channel, and I will see you all with the next video.